Hi, let's talk about the Texas All-State Etude for the year 2025-26. And this is for flute, and we are looking at selection 2 because you guys have 3 etudes this year, and we're going to spend some time looking at the second one. Now, I cannot show you the etude. It is copyrighted, so that means that it's not actually legal for me to post it here on social media, but it is in this book, okay? So make sure that you find a copy and then follow along as you're working on it. If you have additional questions about anything that we talk about in this video, and I'm just going super quick as an overview, please leave a comment and I will make a video about that as well. This is meant to just be a really quick pass over the etude just to get you started, but I'm happy to dig in more details if that would be useful. So we're looking at the second etude. Looking really quickly, just overall, what's going on. You're not playing the entire thing, right? So you're only going from the beginning to the downbeat of measure 33, so that's not the entire etude. The tempo marking is andante, and so andante is not super slow. It's not fast either. It's kind of a walking tempo, so it's not going to be super quick, but some of the notes are very short notes, and so it feels a little bit quicker in some spots. So just make sure that you're working on a really steady tempo. Start practicing slowly and speed it up as you can, and make sure that the tempo is going to be consistent throughout the entire excerpt. So there are some spots where you have rallentandos, so in those you are going to sort of stretch and slow the tempo a bit, but overall it's a fairly consistent tempo. There's a little bit down at the very end of the etude that's marked lento, which means slow, but the majority of it is marked andante. Something else to look at is there is sort of a quality word that's marked there, tranquillo, which means tranquil, right? So not only do we get the speed with them saying it's andante, but we also see that they want it to be sort of calm and chill. Okay. We see in the key signature probably something that is not your favorite thing to see, which is 6 flats. Yes, there are 6 flats in this etude. So what that means is you're going to have B flats and C flats. How do we play C flat? Okay. Yes. In harmonically, it's the same thing as playing a B natural. So this is where things can be a little tricky. When I play B flats, most of the time I use B flat thumb. Okay, so I use the left side of the thumb key and then my pinky in the right hand. And so that's a B flat. I should have a video about all 3 ways to play B flat. I'm not sure if I do. I definitely should. So that is maybe not the best choice for this etude because you're going to be playing C flats, which are inharmonically the same as B naturals. So there's going to be a lot of just toggling back and forth like this when you go between C flats and B flats, and that's not usually going to be the most efficient way. So what I typically do when I have C flats and B flats in a key signature, or if I'm playing in the key of F sharp major or G flat major, I will use this key. Have you seen this one before? So that is called the lever. That is the lever. And so what you'll do to play B flat is first finger in the left hand, thumb, the long side, right side of your thumb key, your pinky in the right hand, and the lever. And that makes a B flat just like the thumb, or just like the long B flat you probably learned back in 5th or 6th grade. Okay, they're all the same. They get the same note, but this allows you to be a little bit slicker, more agile when you're going between a B flat or a C flat. So B flat, C flat, okay? So you just wanna make a decision about how you're gonna play those notes and not leave it up to chance, because if you're using B flat thumb, again, it's gonna be a little awkward and clumsy to toggle. I typically don't use this a whole bunch anyway. I just like the agileness of the lever, which you can play with the side of your finger instead of up and down like this on the long B flat fingering. So make a decision about that. If any of that is confusing, again, leave a comment and I will make a more in-depth video about that. So another thing to take a look at in this is what's called a turn. So if you haven't seen a turn before, it's in measure 3. And in this case, it looks like this. So it's sort of a little curly Q thing. And for this turn, there's a natural underneath it. Okay, if you've never seen a turn before, it's basically an abbreviation. It means that you start on the note that's printed, which happens to be a B flat. You're gonna go up a note in the key signature, which takes you to a C flat. You go back to the original note, B flat. You go down to the note in the key signature usually, but in this case, our natural means you put a natural on that note, so you'll go down to A natural, and then you go back up to B flat, okay? So slowly, it sounds like this. Okay, so B flat, up, B flat, down, B flat. You just sort of do a little curly cue around the note B flat, okay? When you actually play it, it's quicker. Okay, so you want it to be quick, but you gotta practice it slow before you practice it fast, okay? So that's what that is in measure 3. Also, you want to make sure that your grace notes, you don't have a ton of them, but there are enough that we should talk about it. You want the grace notes to happen before the beat that they're attached to, right? So for example, if we're looking in measure 9, you see that there are grace notes that are before the note on beat 3. So you don't want the grace notes to happen on beat 3. You want to steal a little tiny bit of time at the end of beat 2 and put them there so that the note on beat 3 is actually happening on beat 3. So that's going to keep your rhythm really stable. Otherwise, it starts to get a little unclear, and it's sort of like you're playing on quicksand, right? Your rhythm starts to get a little bit fussy, a little bit unstable. And another example is going to be when you have grace notes before beat 1. So that's really important too. So you're going to steal a little bit of time at the end of the previous beat. So at the end of the previous measure, but you want the main note to happen on beat 1, and the grace notes are just a little eensy bit before that beat. All right, last thing I think I want to talk about is the dynamics for the whole thing. There's not a huge range of dynamics. It doesn't go from like triple P to triple F, but there is a range. I like to just eyeball the whole thing and see what my quietest and loudest are. What I see doing a quick scan is pianissimo as our quietest, and I see that we go up to, yikes, I thought we had a forte, maybe we don't, just mezzo forte. So like I said, there's not a huge range, but within that, you do have a lot of crescendos and decrescendos. And so you wanna make sure that you're really showing those variations in the dynamics, otherwise it gets pretty stale. So luckily, some of those crescendos are where the notes go higher, which is pretty natural for us, and the decrescendos are where the notes go lower, also pretty natural for us. So if you kind of follow the natural shape of the line, the contour, you'll be in good shape for those dynamic changes. Okay, so I do have a demonstration video of this particular etude on my shorts because it's pretty short. So I'm gonna link to that so that you can hear it. If you have questions or you need further clarification about anything that I've talked about, please leave a comment and I'll do an expanded video on that. But otherwise, keep watching for your selection number 1 and your selection number 3 for Texas, and good luck. Prepare to the best of your ability, but know that you're doing amazing work, even if you're just trying out. It's really great to do these kinds of things. And you're gonna grow as a musician as you work through these etudes. So let me know how I can help, and have fun.